So the other day I realized something very important about people pleasing. And if you are someone who recognizes himself or herself in people pleasing, in always saying yes when you feel no, abandoning yourself in relationships, making yourself smaller, holding yourself back, never really truly saying what you want, wish, desire, or need, what your preferences are, then this video is absolutely for you. But I must say, only listen to this if you're really ready to overcome people pleasing or to let go of it. Because truly overcoming people pleasing requires some thorough shadow work. And that is not what you think. So what I discovered this past week, or not so much discovered this past week because I actually know it already from a long time, but it came to me even stronger, even better, even more about people pleasing, is the fact that we look at it in the wrong way. If you recognize yourself in people pleasing, you go read a lot about it, right? And you go Google and you say, how do I overcome people pleasing, whatever. And most of the literature, like not all, but most of the literature talks about people pleasing as if it is a reaction to feeling unworthy. So somewhere deep down inside, when you were little, you learned or started to believe about yourself that you're not worthy of love, of recognition, of validation, whatever. And that made you insecure. And because of that insecurity, you created this mechanism of people pleasing, right? Of having no boundaries, of enmeshing with everybody around you, of making yourself smaller, of being a chameleon, of not truly saying what you want, wish, desire, not really expressing who you truly are, as if it is a reaction to feeling unworthy. But people pleasing is not a reaction to feeling unworthy, because deep down inside, with all the women, with all the people I've worked with over the past 3 years, more than 300 women who struggle with people pleasing, what I discovered was that it is not so much about unworthiness, and that deep down inside, as people pleasers, we definitely know that we are worthy. We truly know that we are worthy. We know somewhere deep down inside that we are powerful. We know we can be big. We know we can speak truth. We have vision. We see very clearly. We are very sensitive. We actually have a lot of wisdom, truth, intuition that is there for a reason. So deep down inside, if you do the work with me in sessions or with yourself or whatever, if you do the work around people pleasing, you will discover somewhere that you definitely feel worthy, or that there is a part inside of you that definitely feels worthy of love, of life, of recognition, and of validation. But what happened in the past with those parts of you, the people pleaser, who believe they are worthy, powerful, who see very clearly, who speak truth often, who have preferences, desires, wishes, needs, a vision, who don't really find so much inspiration in a lot of people, who maybe don't like everybody that much. If you, as a little child, learn that all those parts inside of you are really bad, and you expressing them lead to disconnection, rejection, abandonment, shame, blame, punishment, or even worse, then you learn slowly over time, through all of those punishment tactics, those disconnection tactics, that it is very unsafe to showcase those parts of yourself to the world. Those parts that do believe you are powerful and worthy and know things and see things and feel things and express that in an authentic way. So what you do is you fragment yourself, and all those parts that you learn are unsafe to express, you stuff them away in the shadow chambers of your psyche. You then create mechanisms, survival mechanisms or coping mechanisms, to make sure that the world and the people close to you, the people you are attached to or the people you want to stay attached to, because when we are little, we are very dependent on the people around us to survive. So our main goal is survival, and attachment often means survival. What you do is you create mechanisms that they approve of and that make sure that you stay connected to them. And one of those mechanisms is people pleasing, right? Saying yes when you mean no. Adapting yourself, conforming, never really hurting anybody. Don't speak your truth. Don't make people angry. etc. What also happens if you learn that it is unsafe to express your truth, your anger, your power, your wisdom, your intuition, your desires, your needs, your wishes, you not only fragment your psyche and suppress those parts and protect them with coping mechanisms, you also create beliefs around these suppressed parts. So to say, I'm a bad person to be selfish. I'm a bad person to choose for myself. I'm a bad person when I speak my truth or share a need or a desire. Or I'm a bad person when I stand up for myself or when I don't follow authority, whatever. It depends completely on how your parents shamed those parts of you. Because often this happens the most in the family system, and it is reinforced by the society and the cultural conditioning and the societal standards and norms, etc. that we live in. So you create those beliefs around these suppressed parts. If I show that, they believe I'm a bad person. If I tell them I'm not that interested, they believe I'm a narcissist, whatever. If I share a need or a desire, they must believe I use them or abuse them. Or if I show who I truly am, this will always lead to rejection or abandonment. If I speak my truth, if I stand with myself, if I don't speak, if I share what I see, if I confront people, if I choose for myself, whatever, this will lead to a consequence that I want to prevent. So people pleasing is not so much a mechanism that you use to prove your worth and to make sure people love you and validate you and like you because you believe you aren't worthy. You know you are worthy. You have truth, you have wisdom, you have anger, you have power. But you believe that showing that to the world, expressing those traits, people will reject you, abandon you, or worse. They will tell you you are a bad person that is unworthy of love, of life, of living. So it's not that you believe you are unworthy. You know you are worthy, but you feel so unsafe to own that. You are so afraid that you are a bad person or are perceived as a bad person that you will do anything and everything, everywhere you are, to prove to the people that you are a good person. That is what people pleasing is. And the biggest fear beneath that is that when you step into that power, when you show your truth, when you show your true face, when you show your selfish side, your ego-centeredness, your power, your vision, when you tell people, I'm sorry, I'm not interested or inspired by you, and you choose for yourself, that is your biggest fear. Because what is the consequence of doing that? That is being confronted with the shame first, and then with the deep, deep loneliness of not being met in your power, of having to have worked so hard to stay connected to the people around you who could only deal with you if you were little and suppressed and inauthentic. It is sitting with the deep emptiness, loneliness, grief that is beneath the people pleasing. So it's almost a fear of the loneliness, fear of being left alone. And in a way that makes sense, because that fear was created when you were very little, and when being alone meant that you will probably not survive. So it almost feels like life and death. And it is the fear of sitting with that loneliness, with that helplessness, that truly makes you people please. And one of the things that we do when we people please is we suppress our anger. We suppress our truth. And when I say anger, I mean everything that is inside anger, which is our boundaries, our truth, our no, our desires, our wishes, our needs, our joy, our sexual energy, our life force energy. This is all intertwined. This is what I mean when I say we suppress our anger. And the more we do that because we believe it is unsafe and we fear our own anger, we started to fear our own anger because of the deeper fear of being rejected and left alone and die, the less we are able to be authentic wherever we are. But the more we dare to reverse this suppression, express ourselves, our anger and everything that anger holds, wherever we are, the more we start to connect with who we truly are, the more we start to integrate and become a whole human being. And the more whole we are in the here and now, the more we can teach our younger self that we are an adult now, that we can carry ourselves now, whatever happens. So to overcome people pleasing, you don't have to work that hard on mindsetting your way into worthiness. Because deep down inside, you know you are worthy. You're just fucking scared to show that to the world. Because of shame. Because of the shame that is around your worth. And especially as women in this world, we are double, triple shamed on that power. Who do you think you are? You have to be equal with everybody. Equality is the most important thing. You have to do the emotional labor. You cannot disappoint people. You cannot reject people. That is dangerous and not good. You have to be soft and gentle and kind. Who do you think you are, being strong and speaking up for yourself? You cannot choose yourself. That is selfish. That's not a good thing. It's unsafe to be selfish. You have to self-abandon. You have to give yourself away. You have to do free, unpaid emotional labor for everybody. You have to be open for everybody. You cannot be closed because that's dangerous and bad. All those things live inside of us. And all these mechanisms make us suppress our life force energy, our sexual energy, our truth, our power. And that is what you are afraid of losing. The validation, the approval of the good girl. You know you are worthy. And there is unshaming to do on the parts that you exiled to the shadow of your subconscious mind. Because you're so busy proving you are good. But if you unshame those parts, if you say, you know what? I actually am selfish sometimes. I'm not always that interested in everybody. I'm not inspired by everybody. I don't even want to talk to everybody. I'm only going there because of this and this reason, not because I want to meet everybody and talk to everybody. Or I'm very brilliant at this topic and I know I'm further ahead of other people and I don't have to hold back anymore. I can show that. That is okay. That is safe. Or yes, a part inside of me wants that. Or yes, I have a bigger vision. I have often a very sensitive, clairvoyant sight. I know what people need. I know when they speak bullshit. I can call them out on that. That's all what I feel inside, but I hold it back because I want to be seen as the good girl. No, don't hide for those parts. Acknowledge that those parts are there. Doesn't mean you have to go do bad things right now with it, but it's the acknowledgement of those parts. You know what? You're right. There is a part that believes I'm very worthy. There is a part that believes I'm very good at this. There is a part that's very creative, powerful, sensual. There is a part that wants to live and play. There is a part that has desires and needs and wishes on their own. What if I own those parts? What if I get curious to those parts and I say, you know what? This is true. You're right. They are there. I'm not going to deny it anymore, so I don't have to hide them anymore. So I don't have to please myself through life, hide myself, suppress myself, because I'm scared I will be caught. Because if you own the parts that you feel ashamed of and that you are afraid you get caught for, no one can get to you. You can acknowledge it. You can say, yes, that was selfish of me, but I still think I want to do it like that. I'm sorry. So it is the unshaming of the suppressed parts, of the suppressed power. It is acknowledging that we have it. This is what shadow work is. This is what Carl Jung meant with shadow work, but everybody who talks about shadow work right now, this is what shadow work is. It's acknowledging that I have all of that in me. And at some point in my life, some parts got shamed, I suppressed them away, and I created tactics to make sure nobody sees those parts inside of me. But if we unshame those parts, acknowledge them, integrate them, allow them to be there, the inner fight stops. I can relax. When I meet people, I can feel what I want. what my yes is, what my no is. And I dare to listen to it, to create a pause. I can stop slowly over time with people pleasing, with abandoning myself. Because I don't have to hide. I don't have to reject and abandon myself all the time. I don't have to work years and years in therapy on this unworthiness wound. Because it's not about unworthiness. It's about shame and suppressed power. If you're interested in this, I have a beautiful free exercise. That's like the start of the work that I do with the women in my sessions. And it's a free yes or no exercise. Very simple, but very thorough exercise that helps you to take the first step in overcoming people pleasing and unshaming the parts that you exiled into the shadow. It's a free exercise. You can download it below. I will put the link there. And it helps you to feel the felt sense of yes and no in your body, how the yes feels, how the no feels, and to become aware of how you have learned to override those most important signals. Okay, let me know in the comments if anything touched you. Please like, subscribe, share this with someone whom you might think could use it too. And I'll see you in the next.